Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the stream. So it's Monday, and that means it's build day. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm going to be checking out those sessions a little bit later on. In the meantime, what I wanted to do in today's stream is just do another UI challenge. So this one up here. This is a design which I found over on Dribble. And so if we go and have a look, let me just sort of escape out of here for a second. Let's have a look at where we can find that one. So it's basically this one here. I'll post it into the chat window. So this is kind of what we're going to try and knock out. It could take us a few sessions to do it. It's got some interesting aspects to it, I think. So first of all, what I like about this design, it's very, very clean. I like a clean design. It's got excellent colors in it as well. And it's also got a few technical challenges as well. Like I'm assuming that what the designer meant in this here is this would be like basically a slider, which we could go back and forth. And the interesting thing, particularly about this one, is that it's got this little notch cut out of here. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that. My guess is it's going to be Skier that's going to do that for us. So that's the challenge we have. So hopefully everyone is doing well and had a good weekend. And let me know in the chat window if you've got any questions or if you've got any predictions for any announcements that are going to happen at Build today. That should be pretty cool as well. All right. So normally how I like to start these things is actually sort of break down the design, how we might do it. And normally the way I like to do that is put it into Sketch. Actually, no, I'm going to do it in Adobe XD because I'm on a PC. And then, have a little bit of a look at that design and see what we have. All right, so let's get started with that, shall we? So do say hi in the chat window if you're around. So what I'll do first is let's have a look at actually, let's just go back here for a second. Let's have a look here. So the challenges in this one are going to be this sort of temperature area here. if we go and have a look at a full screen of this, the other interesting things it's got going on, it's got kind of an interesting tab here. So I'm assuming what this design is all about. Hey R2AU, how you doing? Happy Monday. Hope you're doing well. So what do we got here? We got like I'm assuming an IoT type of thing. That's a public holiday. Fantastic. Double bonus. So are you doing anything fun with your public holiday, or are you just watching Twitch streams? I suppose that's the fun thing to do, isn't it? Probably waiting for build, I'm guessing. All right. What do we got? We've got an IoT dashboard. We've got temperature here. We've got a slider in here. That'll be interesting. We're going to have a horizontal scroll between the various security cameras, I'm assuming, for different zones. And there's also some tabs across the bottom here. Okay, so a bit of an interesting sort of tab approach. I'm assuming we can slide through the various rooms in here. So this is what we'll put together. R2AU light renovations. Family is up. All right, well, make sure you pay attention to the family and have fun with those renovations. All righty, so let's get started. Let's go and pop some of these designs into Sketch. No, I keep on saying Sketch. What I really mean is I'm in Adobe XD. I like Adobe XD. The reason I like Adobe XD is it's free. So there's that. And I also wrote a plugin for Xamarin as well, which we'll play around with. And let me just check R2AU if you're still listening. How's the audio? Because I got some new audio equipment. Just want to make sure that the sound is coming through okay. Maybe a bit quiet. Okay. Maybe a bit quiet. All right. Well, what I'll try and do is I'll try and speak up a little bit, because I've got my mic up to full volume, so I might have to yell some. All right. Here we are in Adobe XD. Let's first of all get our couple of screens that we're going to have here. So basically put this in the middle here, and then we'll crop this in. I'm no expert at Adobe XD, but I do enjoy it. I think it's a really, really cool application. Okay, so there we are. We've got one of the screens, but it actually has two screens, which is going to be one of the interesting challenges. So if I come back over here, it's also got a dark version of it as well. So let's go and plonk that inside of here. Oops, don't do that. If you hold down the Alt key, it will resize from the middle. That's kind of cool. And I think maybe make that one too small. Let's have a look. There we go. That should be about right. Okay, so here's our two versions of the pages that we're going to do. So it's got the same layout. The difference here is that what we have is different themes. So one of the things we'll do in this challenge is we'll do two different themes. We will also tackle some of these as well. What I really want to do today, though, is just get the basic layout going. And I also want to test out, I created myself an Adobe XD plugin to export things to Xamarin. So I want to see how well that's working. At the moment, it just does sort of colors and character styles or font styles. Okay, so let's have a look at how we might do this. What I'm thinking is this is pretty much a stack layout that's going to go down the page here. We'll have perhaps a grid in here, which will give us our elements here. This will probably just be a frame or something like that. Now this one here, this is the interesting one. So how we're going to do this, I am thinking that we can either render it all in Skier Sharp, which will be a little bit tricky because, well, mostly because I don't know Skier very well. But also there's a bit of detail in here as well. So, but what we do need to do is, as this thumb scrolls, I'm guessing we're going to have this section here move along with it. And to do that, one thing you can do in Skier is you can actually set up a clipping mask. So kind of if I had I'm thinking if I have a shape that goes like this, right, that moves along with this thumb, then I could create a clipping mask which would then cut out that section. But we'll have a look at that a little bit later on once we get it together. What else have we got? We got some fonts going on. We've got a gradient background with an image down the bottom. We've got this wacky tab bar down the bottom as well. Okay, so that's what we're after. And then, of course, our two different themes that we have in here as well. All right. Cool. So let's get started by creating some of these elements. Maybe we should find some fonts and get some colors laid out first of all. So I'm going to create myself a new artboard here. Okay. And we'll do some things like create these images that we have here for our various zones and things like that. All right. So what can we do here? First of all, here's some cool, a tough one. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think, like, in terms of a tough one, the tough part is going to be the tabs and this Skier Sharp. And I don't know, R2AU, you seem like somebody who might have played with Skier a fair bit. So we'll have to see what we do here. I'm not sure whether to completely render it in Skier or just use an image and then have that clipping mask, as I said. So we'll try it out. We'll try a few different approaches. I don't know. I don't really know which is going to work. Okay. So here's some interesting little plugins that you have for Adobe XD. So, let's say we want a profile image. What we can do is we can actually just create a rectangle here, and we can come across. So let's make this, I don't know, something like 64 by 64 to start off with. What I can do is I can actually come in, and there's a cool little plugin called User Profile, and you can basically hit that, and what it will do is it will just load up a user profile for you. Just create an image. And so we'll circle through a few of those until we get something that we think might be okay. That one was probably okay, but anyway, let's, what do you think? Does that go too creepy? Well, it is, if we do Welcome Home David, this could be a David. The other cool thing you can do with this is if you click in here, you can sort of position that around as well inside of there. So let's go with full face David here. Okay. Now, of course, what I could do as well, if I wanted to make this a circular image, I can just grab this and I can drag that in and make it a circular image, which is kind of nice. Probably though, we won't do that. Maybe we should use the circle image plugin. So what I'll do is I'll clear out that corner radius and we'll put that back to 0. Awesome. So so that's sort of our image there. Now, what do we need to have a look at next? Let's have a look at, anyone got a favorite? You want to do dark or light first? Let's do light. I like light-wise. So let's bring this over here. Right. And let's sort out a gradient for this background. So in order to do that, I can make myself a rectangle here. Probably don't want a border on it. And we'll get a fill. We want a linear gradient. And we'll specify a few colors here. So starting off with what's up in the top left up here. All right, cool. And down the back end, we're going to have like a blue. Let's sort of gradient down to. So let's grab that. And you might notice it's actually got a little bit of orange in here, or a bit of peach color. So I'll put a point here in the middle and I'll grab a bit of that peach color. Awesome. All right, so that's cool. Let's adjust that gradient a little bit more. So we'll say, hey, it's going from this top left corner. It looks like it's going diagonally across here. That doesn't look too bad. We can sort of adjust this as well, where that is. What I might do is I might actually create another one in here and make this the same color. Just so as, no, maybe not. Let's get rid of that one. All right, that's probably going to do us. All right, so we've got ourselves a bit of a gradient. Now, the question is, if we go the skier approach, should we actually go and just render that in code? Maybe. For the moment, I'll just create it as an image here, though. Where did our profile photo go? Now, it's probably a really good idea to name all of these. So I'll call that profile. I'll call this background. Now, let's tackle some other things. Let's tackle this. Actually, let's grab a couple of these things here first of all. So we've got a little lightning bolt here. I'm going to actually just create all of these, I think. So this one here, I'll say, okay, well, let's go and get that to there, and to there, to there, to there. Okay, something like that. Let's put some different sort of shapes on this. Okay, maybe rounded. Oh. I feel like I've got a slight echo going on there. Should have a point up the top here, shouldn't we? Okay, well, we'll see how that goes. So let's say I want to grab a fill for this one. Like so. Let's grab a border. Grab that color there. I'm going to fix this point. It's a bit wacky, isn't it? That might do us, I think. Okay, so we get ourselves a little lightning bolt here. I'll go and rename this bad boy. And we'll throw him over here in this artboard. What else have we got? Let's start positioning these things around, shall we? At the moment, I'll just create that here. I'll resize it down. Yeah, that's about right. Beautiful. All right, let's have a look at fonts. Fonts might be a key thing that we might want to have inside of here as well. So I think, just remembering back to this here, they mentioned a font that they used. So this is, I should mention who the author of this is. Ionut Zamfir. And I think I saw down in the comments, somebody said, hey, what font did you use? And it's Sophia Pro, which suspiciously sounds like the kind of thing you're gonna have to pay for. So let's try this. Let's say Google fonts like Sophia Pro. Poppins. Poppins is apparently the thing. All right, let's try that. And let's see how that compares. So what we're after, there's a few different weights here. So probably after a few different weights going on in here. Let's have a look at how many weights this has. Yeah, look, it's got all the good ones. Okay. Cool, let's go and get that. Select this font. There's a download button somewhere normally. Poppins. Okay. So that's giving me a bunch of fonts. Which ones do we think we might need here? All right, so definitely a thin and a stronger one. So maybe we'll go for bold and light, maybe. Yeah, looks good. Let's install Poppins. Bold and Poppin light. Go and install that one as well. Beautiful. Now, the thing I'm not sure about is this going to allow me to select it now? I'm going to have to restart Adobe XD. Awesome. Okay, Poppins bold. Oh, yeah, bold. Okay, that's probably about right. Yeah, that's pretty close, isn't it? So what's that, 30? Yeah, let's just stick with 30. Beautiful. Okay, let's get it a color. All right, beautiful. Yeah, it looks about right. Okay, now one thing that is really nice about Adobe XD as well is we can do something like this and we can say, hey, let's get the colors and add them to our assets. And so then we have this color in here. And we can call this, for example, header color. All right. And the reason I'm doing that is because I've got myself this little plugin that I wrote, which will go and allow us to pull those values directly out of there. And it basically puts them into styles. So I should also be able to do this. I should be able to say, let's add this style to assets. So here it says it's in Poppins 30. And if I go back to my plugin, if I can find plugins, there we are, it's created a style for me as well. Okay, cool. So that'll help us out, just bringing it in. Feel that's about right. Let's do this. Let's put it there, and then let's bring it across here. Okay, and then we've got Poppins light down here. So again, I'll just create that font first of all. Welcome home, David. Of course, that's not the size we want it, or the color. So let's go and find ourselves a color here. This is going to be in light. So this bit, which is going to be in bold. And let's adjust that font size right down. See if we can find out what sort of size this would be. Probably about that, about 12. Yeah, that'll be close enough. let's have a look at this bit here. So my apologies for anyone who was joining in just for Xamarin. I think the important part of it is actually getting the design right as well. So anyway, we'll learn a little bit about Adobe XD at the same time. Let's create ourselves a rectangle here. Something like that. Let's bring in the corners here. It's got no fill, it's got a border color. Okay, beautiful. That's about right. Oops, don't want that. Just select this. Here's another little trick as well. If you select the background, you can come in here and you can lock it so as I can't select it. All right, something like that. Go and throw this fella up here. We'll just sort of mock it out a little bit here. We won't get too crazy. Now the question is bold going to work there? It's too bold, isn't it? Too bold. I think what we need is we need a semi-bold. And we have one of those, semi-bold. Let's install that. Beautiful. No. Come on. No, not going to play. All right, we'll leave that for a moment. Let's create this arrow. I'll create this with this pen. It's not going to work for us, is it? Let's do this. Let's just copy that, and then we'll flip it around. Maybe the easiest way is just to do this. That's not going to work. That's not going to work at all, is it? I tell you how we'll do it. We'll do the point first. There we go. Beautiful. All right, let's grab these elements and group them together into something called arrow. And we'll grab ourselves this color here. Beautiful. Now let's store this color. Let's see where else this is used. It's probably the same color as that, actually. Colored assets. Let's call this arrow color at the moment. That over yonder, and maybe we want to make that 2, no, 1. Okay, cool. So we're kind of getting there. Let's put that up there. Beautiful. All right. Now let's tackle this one down here. temperature in there. Make that a little bit smaller. That's about right. All right, so we got our temperature. Okay, let's deal with this one here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create this as an image to begin with, and then what we'll do is we'll see if we scale it up later on. So basically the way I would do this is I'd come in here, create myself a rectangle around about the right size. Just turn the opacity down so I can see what's going on. Add a little bit of, actually we can probably do the border. Let's, for the moment, we'll do the border with this. Okay, cool. And then what we'll do is we'll go and grab some of these gradients. So we'll get its fill. We'll say this is a linear gradient going from this blue up here, and this one down to this color here. Again, it looks like it's an angled gradient. And I'd also say that this has more blue and red. So let's get that same color. I feel it's got a stronger blue up here. Try that, getting that again. Feels a bit darker than that. Doesn't really matter. Oh, that's because I got the opacity down. There we go. That's better. How's that looking? It's not too bad. All right. That'll do us for the moment. Okay, what else have we got? We've got inside of here some fonts. That's going to come in a little bit later on. Let's assume that that's going to be the same font as this one. We've got a couple of symbols inside of here as well. The interesting thing about those symbols is they're going to appear on here. So they probably want to be just slightly transparent in order for us to make them display there. So let's do that, and let's put these notches down the bottom. So this is here's an interesting feature in Adobe XD. If I was to come along here and I was to say, let's create myself a rectangle here, and I'll give this a fill, which is a linear gradient fill that goes from this color. Oops. Goes from this color here and up the top. Maybe it just goes out to white actually. Maybe we'll pick a slightly different color. Let's go with what is almost, oh no, that's too dark. I reckon it wants to be just a lighter color that we have. Get rid of the border on that. This color here would want to go down to, actually maybe once it goes down to 0. All right, so that's a pretty good representation of that that we have there. One of the nice things in Adobe XD is you can do this. You can basically say, let's create ourselves a repeat grid, which is essentially saying, let's just repeat this shape, right? And we can then adjust the spacing between it. So if I was to grab that and I was to line this up here, I could say, let's go and adjust the spacing between the repeated elements to something like that. And then and take this across. Oops. Come on. To my other design here. Actually, I think I've picked the wrong colors here, haven't I? Let's try that again. Actually, you know what I think I want? I think I actually just want white, to tell you the truth. So I'll make that white. And then we'll adjust the opacity of it down. Okay. But the cool thing here is what I can do is I can say, if I want this all the way along here, I can just say, whoop. There we go. Beautiful. That's a really cool feature of Adobe XD. All right. Well, that gives us a starting point there. All right. President Not Sure, howdy. Welcome. We're just doing some playing around with some design here to begin with. And I'm not going to do all of this. I think I'm just going to do enough that I get all of the various elements. All right, let's tackle this one. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this. Doesn't have to be exact. Something like that. Now with this here, I want to group all these elements together. Probably want to give this a rounded cap on the end. Yeah, maybe a little bit bigger as well. Yeah, it looks pretty good. We'll make this white and then we'll fade it right back. All right, cool. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and then rotate it around. What I could do is instead of doing that, let's get these two lined up. That didn't work. Why you no work? Possibly I want to get rid of this. Yeah, I want to get rid of that. That's what I want to do. Let's come back here. This is the fun of design. Let's get rid of that. And we'll just put a single line in. Beautiful. Drawing snowflakes. It's not what I imagined I'd be doing this morning. All right, let's group all of this stuff together. Back out here. Snowflake. All right, beautiful. Now we got a snowflake, which we can bring over here. Okay, we can pull our opacity down until it's about right. And we'll do it. Come in and create this. Zoiks. Actually, we might not want that one. We might want to get rid of that one. And let's just turn this into curve. Beautiful. That's what we want. And we'll turn this one into a curve as well. Awesome. Does anyone else like doing this stuff? I know some people hate doing this sort of stuff, this design work. I actually quite like it. Assuming, of course, this would be a lot easier if I was actually working with a designer, because they just give you the designs. Yeah, that works kind of nice. Let's group that and let's call this heat. Okay, and we'll splat that over here. Let's have a look at the fill we had. Let's change that to a more common number, 35. Let's go and change this one to be 35 as well. Beautiful. So I think that is kind of all we need there. The rest of it's going to be filled in via fonts. Now here's another cool thing as well. Let me show you another cool plugin that exists for Adobe XD. And that is this ability here to President Not Sure says, I don't hate it, but I'm not very good at it. Yeah, me neither. I mean, I can do all right at like replicating a design, but don't ask me to create one from scratch. That's my big problem. Okay, so check this out. This is cool. If you're ever creating mockups, you saw that there was a plugin to do user profiles, but there is also a plugin here as well. If I was to go and create an image around about the same size as these, a rectangle rather, and I was to get this, there's a cool little rectangle, cool little thing called Photo Splash. And you can come in here and you can say, let's go and look for for a room. And you can just go and get an image. Let's find something that's, I don't know, that one looks good. And you can just go and put it inside of here. And then, you know, obviously we could throw some rounded borders on this as well. And you end up with basically, you know, what you're after there, which is really, really nice. President Not Sure. Don't create one from scratch. Exactly. That's where graphic designers win, because they're really good at this stuff. So let's just create a couple of these. So maybe that'll be our kitchen. Maybe we'll create one here, which would be just a really, really nice way of getting images into your design. So let's just type in room. Let's see what we get. Find this as a couple of funky rooms. Maybe that one's okay. Yeah, that'll do. It's a bit dark. Anyway, it'll do for the moment. And we'll create another one here. And This one will be our, I don't know, we'll just find another room, basically. Did we already get that lounge room? I think we did. What's that? I don't even know what room that is. What room is that? Who has a room like that? It's like a kid's room with a big thing in the middle. Anyway, we'll make that one of our rooms. Cool. Now, what I will do is, because we will create these rounded corners in the app, I'll get rid of them out of here. And I'll call this element here room 1. Call this one room 2. And call this one room 3. Cool. Alrighty. Great. And then we got this section at the bottom. But that's probably enough to get us started, I think. Cool. Now, let me just check what assets I've actually put in here, because I got a little bit slack about that. So maybe we want to get this font. And this would be a 12 point. So this is, I don't know, subtext maybe. Call this one. Oops, that's what I wanted to do. Edit this one. We'll call this one heading or header. That's what we called the other one. So let's call this one header. And this is subtext. Actually, we should just be able to use the semi-bold font, so we probably don't need this one at all. So we'll get rid of that one. Okay. This will be our header. So go and create this as a style. 22 point, let's rename it to subheader. That'll probably do us for the moment. Okay, because we should get into some code, shouldn't we? So the idea of why I was creating that, and I was creating these elements inside of here, is again so that I can come here and I can say, hey, let's go and get those styles and those colors that we can bring into our Xamarin.Forms project. So that was the idea there. All right. And I should mention, in case anyone wants to have a look at that plugin for Adobe XD, it's on my GitHub. Right here. So yeah, basically exports those styles. What I was thinking, I want to extend this out, because plugins are actually pretty nice to write, pretty easy to write. Except you got to know JavaScript really well, which I don't. But hopefully what I can do is I could extend this so that it actually exports skier code from this. Let's see why I couldn't. That would be cool. Anyway, let's take what we have there at the moment and let's start creating our project. All right, so I'm gonna new up a Xamarin.Forms app. I'm gonna call this, now what did I call this? Created a, what's it called? DayVsNight. Yeah, this is where I'm gonna put it. Okay, so let's, I don't know, I suppose we'll call it DayVsNight. And I want to put this under GitHub. Source folder. Something like that. And DayVsNight. I always get this wrong about the level of the project. Anyway, let's go with that. Create ourselves a blank application. Beautiful. Let's do the necessary updates that you should always do when you create yourself a new project. Hey, Ryan Roberts. Semifinals coming up, a Calc 2 exam and a CS exam Thursday. That sounds like a busy week. Good luck with it. Do I have plans this summer? I don't have plans this summer because I live in Australia, so it's about to go winter. Fantastic. All right, let's go and update some NuGet dependencies here. So go to the updates tab. Let's get ourselves a bit of a Xamarin.Forms update and essentials update. You thought I was from the UK. People get Australian and English and New Zealand accents confused. But no, I can assure you I'm from Australia. I did live in the UK for a while though. So maybe that's it. Ryan says, my next course is C++, but would you recommend learning C first? Well, you should learn the C syntax, I suppose. When I learnt C, which was at university, it was Kernighan and Ritchie. I don't know how to spell their name. Kernighan and Ritchie. Probably this one here. Actually, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. Oh yeah, that was it. Kernighan and Ritchie. This is the C book that I read. Kernighan and Ritchie. This was basically the Bible, as it was for learning C. So that's where I started. I didn't really do a lot of C++. Mostly mine was just straight C and Win32 development. All right, so we've got our updates done there. I'm going to put in the live XAML as well. Okay, so let's just need that in that solution there. Beautiful. And that should give me the ability to do live updating. Really scared of data structures. Yeah, I can understand that fear. Set that as my startup project. I think data structure is pretty important to understand, though. I think if you're actually really good at that stuff, you can write much better code. All right, I'm just going to build this. I'm just going to run it just to make sure. Every other course, lots of people pass. You know, that's what I found with my degree. So I did, I did computing degree as well. And that was a long time ago. I think it was 1990. I actually started my computing degree. And for the first year, it was all good. And then second year, about 60% of people dropped out, which I think is actually pretty common. All right, cool. So we've got that working. Let's just check that our live refresh is working. Not by looking at activity. Let's go to our main page. And I might actually just sort of dock this over, put this over here. And then we'll get this guy, just so we can see both at the same time. I don't know about you, but at Build, I'm hoping they announce something about live previewing. cool. That's updating. Beautiful. All right, now we can start our challenge. So let's have a look at what we're going to have here. Like I said, I think given this layout, my assumption with what the designer had in mind here. Do I have any good books for data structures? I don't. I'm sorry. So if anyone else in the chat has some good recommendations on data structure, so just computer science data structures for Ryan, just throw them into the chat window. All right, so my assumption with this design is that down the bottom here, there's going to be this tab, right? And that will always want to sit at the bottom of the page. So I'm thinking the basic page layout will be like a grid with 2 rows. And then this could really just be a stack layout, I reckon. This goes down here. All right, so let's give this a go. Okay, so let's create ourselves a grid. In our grid, we'll have grid.row definitions. We can have 2 rows. Our first row is going to take up all of the space, so it's going to be a star size. The second row is going to be perhaps an auto size. Okay, cool. Now, let's add a few things in here. I'm going to have to flick back and forth here, I think. Actually, you know what I might do? I might see if I can do this. It's just nice to be able to see it at the same time. So maybe if I just say view that image there. Maybe we can move this one to the side. That makes more sense. Cool. All right, that's better. So this bit here, I think what I'll do is I'll do a grid here. And this will be a stack layout down here. Beautiful. So I'll say, you know what I should do? I should actually export some of those images first of all. Anyway, that's all right. We'll just do this first of all. So I'll create myself a grid. Grid inside a grid. Actually, stack layout inside of a grid. And then, so that's going to be the stack layout that goes in there. And then this is going to be the header section. Cool. So this is going to have 2 columns. The first column is going to take up most of the space. The second column here is just going to be auto-sized. Okay, and that's what we're going to have in here. Brian, you seem quite worried about your course. You got it. Don't worry, you got that. Let's just get some of these positioned first of all. So we want a stack layout going down here. Okay, and then that's going to have inside of here, dashboard, and then underneath that we're going to have another label which says welcome home, David. All right, something like that. Beautiful. Alrighty. And then in our second column, we're going to have, just put a box view there for the moment. we'll say we'll make that 50 by 50. We're going to put it into grid column 1. And just for the moment, we'll just create give it a corner radius of 25. All right, so here we are. We got a super ugly layout going on here. So we're gonna obviously need some padding and things going on in there. So maybe we can move all of this down. So we can add a margin. So let's go 0. Let's go 30, 0, 0. I think this stack layout is going to want to have some padding inside of it. In fact, maybe we should just do it there. Maybe we should say 20 by 30. Ryan says, am I bored? Oh no, Ryan, are you bored? I don't think Ryan's bored. Ryan's just worried about his class. Cool. Let's get some images and some fonts going, because that'll make it a little bit more interesting, I think. All right. So here's a cool thing, right? Is if you've got styles like, if you've got images like this and exportable resources, right? So I can say, let's have a look in, and you name them, right? So if I get this one here and I say, oops, hang on. Let's come down to here. So that one's called profile. So that's good. That one we gave a name, which is lightning. This one here, we probably want to group these elements together. Right? So if we group those together and we call that temp or temp gauge, okay, and then we called that room 1, room 2, room 3, right? Cool. What's this one? That's the header. There's our arrow. We don't need that one. Don't need that. Okay, so what I should be able to do is I should be able to select these images, right? Or select these elements inside of here. So we want the background, we want the lightning, we want the arrow, profile picture, the temp gauge, room 2, 3, 1, right? So if I select those elements, I should be able to say export selected, and then I can go and specify my directory, and it'll export all of the different sizes. So let's find what directory all of this is living in. So it's going to basically live under this directory here. Okay, so that's for our iOS images. So I can come back to Adobe XD and say, go and push those out into that folder. And if I say iOS images, it will give me the 1, 2s, and 3 times. Which means if I come back into here, stop my application, turn on all of my files, I've now got each of these elements, which is awesome. Then I can select them. Okay, and I can include them in my project. All right, and we should do the Android ones as well. So let's try that. Export selected to Android. Change the directory on this one to go up a directory into the Android resources. And I think we can just put it here. And it will put them into the correct folders for us. Let's have a look. Sometimes I've seen this not work very well. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Let's just check these. Arrow, yeah. Background. Yeah, they look pretty good. All right, cool. Just do some includes. So has anyone got any predictions for build? I know David Ordenau will be demoing, well, I don't know, but I'm assuming David Ordenau will be demoing the Zappy application. All right, so once we have some of those, we can then start putting this together. Are we ready for Forms 4? I don't know. I'm ready for Forms 4. I worry about that collection view. I think there's still some rough edges on that collection view. But I'm ready. All right. Cool. So we should be able to put some of this stuff together now. Carousel view, is it not implemented? I thought carousel view kind of was just coming from the collection view. Is it actually a separate control? Oh, there's a class. All right, so it must be a thing. All right. Now what else we need? We need there's a couple of other NuGets that I may as well bring in now, actually. While we're here. Spec for carousel view on forms is much more advanced. Oh, well, that's good because I think the carousel view is pretty limited. Oh, sorry, the collection view is pretty limited at the moment. Okay, what do I want to bring in? So, what's James's rounded image called? God. Well, actually, pancake view I want to bring in. Pancake view is, I haven't used this one before. Let me open that up for you. Pancake view is really cool for doing rounded corners and things like that. In fact, maybe I can just use pancake view for all of my rounding, actually. Probably. Let's just try that. So we'll bring in pancake view. Normally I'd use James's one. We need this namespace in here. Just saw your comment there, R2AU. I think carousel view right now is barely more than a public class. But it's a start, right? It's a start. All right. I'm not going to call this yummy. I'm going to call this pancake. Okay. Cool. Now I don't think I have to do any initialization for that, so we should be good. So let's do something cool. Let's go and could be hiding on another branch. Let's hope so. Let's grab an image. Let's make it source equal to profile. I'm not running. Let me run this first. Okay, here it comes. Hey, there we go. Cool. So let's add a bit of pancake to this. I have no idea why it's called a pancake view. I don't know if that's a thing. I mean, they're delicious and all. Pancake view not found? Really? Did not add it in? Xamarin.Forms pancake view? Yeah, should be there. Let's build it again. Exactly. That's exactly what I thought, President Not Sure. Yeah, to me it implies stacking, but it's not. Is that the right namespace? I think it is. But no, it's it's really cool for doing those rounded corners on things. So that's what I'll use around here, I reckon. Wow. Okay, better put that in there. Beautiful. Corner radius 25. There we are. Beautiful. All right, we got ourselves that. This is taking a while, but anyway, let's see what we got. So we got welcome home David. So probably what I want to do for that is actually have some a formatted text string, because we got that bold there, but probably gonna have to bring those fonts in, aren't I? I've been delaying it because I hate dealing with fonts. All right, let's see if this works. Let's come in here. Let's go to my Xamarin.Forms exporter, and you can either just copy from here, or you can just sort of select it and copy it. And then I should be able to come back here and basically just throw it in there. Awesome. A couple of things I want to improve about that, by the way, is this font family. Actually, it should probably be in a separate resource, because it's going to be different for Android and iOS. Also, if a text color is specified like up here, like we can sort of see here, those two are the same. It should reference that one. Anyway, okay, so let's go back over to GitHub for a second. Let's have a look at, because I can never remember how to do fonts, right? So we did another challenge here the other day, which was called Art Auction. Is it bad I can't remember how to do fonts? Yeah, so this is probably what I'll do here. Fonts. And then we'll say, okay, here's our title font, and this is going to be, let's go and get those fonts and bring them into the resources directories. Let's get it from our downloads here. President, not sure you're the same. Yeah, I'm terrible at remembering this stuff. I kind of know what I need to do. I just don't know the syntax of it necessarily off the top of my head. So I know I'm going to bring a resource, a font into there. So I'm going to grab my Poppins. I'm going to open this directory here. And underneath here, we wanted Poppins bold, we wanted semi-bold, and light. Wow, okay. And so there are our 3 fonts that we have there. So I'll include that in the project. Yeah, this is kind of annoying. I wish this would refresh. Okay, so bring those in, include them in our project. And then we got to go and adjust our info P list, right? So that's the one that I always really forget. So let's come back over here. There we are. And what we're after is this little puppy down the bottom here. And let's just go straight into an XML editor. Okay, so what have we got? We've got Poppins bold TTF. We've got Poppins light TTF. Actually, I'm not sure if we used Poppins semi-bold. Anyway, we'll bring it in. We can always pull it out later on. Semi-bold. I think we need regular, actually. Yeah, maybe. We'll see how we go. Let's go with those 3 to begin with. All right, so I think that should be enough for us to be able to use them. So now the question is, as always, what is the name of the actual fonts themselves? So normally I have pretty good luck if you open up the font and you just get that name that we have here. So Poppins semi-bold. This one's going to be Poppins bold. So let's have a look at what that one's called. Let's open on my other screen here. Poppins light. Poppins bold is just called Poppins. Interesting. All right, let's go with that one. It doesn't feel right, but anyway, we'll have our body light, and we'll call this Poppins light. That's right. Then we had Poppins semi-bold. I'm going to change the name of these. Text light, text bold, text semi-bold. All right, we'll just do it with iOS for the moment. So what I want is the header to be text bold. That look about right. Subtext, which is this one here, which would be our static resource text light. A subheader, which is going to be also in Poppins bold. Cool. Let's see if any of that works. Well, it's not because I'm not referencing them, but let's see if it blows up. Didn't blow up, that's a good sign. So what would happen then if I came in here and I said style equals static resource header. Beautiful. Beautiful. Works a charm. All right, we screwed up our image, of course, probably because we want that to be vertically centered and we want it to be horizontally centered. Request, we've got a height request. Why is that gone kooky? Let's not worry about it right at the moment. Let's maybe do this label here as some, instead of just having it welcome home David, let's do a formatted text. This is another one of those ones that's labeled up formatted text, and then we say formatted string, and then we have spans, I think. Text equals welcome home. And then we'll have another one, which is a span, David. Let's see if that gives us, yep, okay, so that gives us that. So now we could say, the style for this one is, wait for it. No. Can you have styles in there? Sure you can. Yep. Welcome home. And then this one will be okay, but we don't want that to be the subtext. It feels a little small to me. I wonder why. Let's leave it for the moment. So what did we have? We had a subheader. We also need one which is a semi-bold. So we'll create another style here. IntelliSense isn't working. There, and then we can make this text here subtext semi-bold. There we are. And so now we have a similar thing to this where we have welcome home David. All right, what's going on with this image? I wonder if this needs a width and a height request as well. Corner radius of 25. All right, let me put in a background image here as well. You know what we need to do? we need to create ourselves an implicit style, because grids implicitly have a little bit of spacing inside of them. And so we did this last time, actually. If you go and have a look at what we did in the art auction, inside of this, we created ourselves an implicit style for grids, which is actually pretty handy, didn't we? Yeah, like that. Okay, so just an implicit style, which is going to get rid of the row and the column spacing. Definitely recommend that. I'll put this under a separate thing. So hopefully what that will do is if we save that, it will get rid of that. Yeah, there was a little space at the bottom here, I noticed. Yeah, that's super handy. So normally for grids, and also for stack layouts as well, depending on what you're trying to do, if you just want to get rid of that padding, you can just create an implicit and then just override it if you need it. But grids, I kind of never use the spacing, because pretty much I use grids just to do layout. All right, what's this? That's your problem code. What did I break? Property element cannot be in the middle of an element's content. They must be before or after the content. That should be fine. All right, cool. All right, let's get going. So we're going to header section here. I want to fix that image. Let's do that. Can anyone see why this pancake view wouldn't work? Grid column 1. Oh, actually, maybe we'll get rid of that one there. Okay, background color blue. We'll get rid of that. I don't need that. We're saying I want that to be 50, centered, center, width and height. Can't see why that would be a problem. In fact, I still don't even think I need these two here. Let me see if I get rid of the quarter radius. Okay, we got it there. Yeah, see, I don't think this updates very well. Anyway, I'll tell you what I'm going to use. I'm going to use James's circle image plugin, because that's what I'd normally use anyway. So let's go and I think we need this on all packages or all projects. Circle image. I think that's our one there, isn't it? Well, is that what it's called these days? Plugin circle image. Image circle plugin. That's the one. That's our bad boy. So let's. Oh, wrong one, Dr. Jones. All right. Let's go and read his docs, because he has really good docs. So we need to do an init on both of our platform projects. So let's do that. I'm going to kind of ignore Android to start off with, which might be a mistake. It's actually an interesting question, whether people normally code out both at the same time, or do you do one and then fine tune the other? Okay, there we go. So we've got those. Now, in order to use this, we need to add in our namespace. We'll call this circle image. All right, let's give this another go. All right. Well, that's easier, isn't it? Good dog. Column equals 1. Beautiful. All right. Now here, we got a little bit too much space, I think. So what would we do there? I think what I would normally do is just adjust the margins, which is not too bad. And let's stick with it for the moment. All right, let's do this next bit. So underneath all of this stuff for our header, next in our stack layout, we want to have probably a frame. Oops. Oh no, Visual Studio. Where have you gone, Visual Studio? There we are. As shadow false, beautiful. Background color transparent. Border color. So what is our border color? Did we export that? I think it might be the same as the arrow color. No, it's not. It's a little bit different. So let's go and add that in there. And we'll call this, it's a terrible name, but let's go and grab that. That's what we're after. I'll add that back up in here. There we go. Color. Now, I'm putting these in as static resources. In reality, I'm going to have to change these anyway, I think, to being dynamic, because we want to be able to switch between different, what would you call it? Different themes, right? Because we're going to have another theme here as well. All right. So do you want to frame? Well, actually, probably here we actually probably want to tell you the truth, we probably want a grid with 3 elements in it, right? It's probably what we're after. And grids being my go-to. It's going to have 3 columns. Probably just do it with 2 and then embed a stack layout, but that's probably not as efficient. So I don't know. For this, it probably doesn't matter. So we're going to have 2 auto columns, and then we're going to have another column Actually, sorry, this second one's going to be a star because it's going to take up all the space. And then the third one is going to be auto. And then we're going to throw a few images in here. So we're going to say source equals, what do we call it? We called it lightning. The second one will have a label. To unchecked events. We'll give it a style. Let's try that. And this will be in grid row, grid column 1. And then we'll have another image. Source equals arrow. That's what I called it. All right, beautiful. And for some of these images, we probably want to go vertical options center, horizontal options center. Let's see what we've got there. Wow, that's not what we're after at all. Okay, so we're after this one here, wants to be in grid column 2. Beautiful. We might want to give a little bit of a margin here. Okay, beautiful. Now for this here, I suppose we could put it inside of a frame because let's see if that works for us. So we'll put the grid in a frame. I feel I need a better way of doing that. Change the size of that subtext. Maybe we just want to use this and make this 14. Here's another one. Yeah. So frames have a padding. That's why. That's why, my friends. That's why. So should we throw another implicit style? Property equals padding. This one's a little bit more dangerous because mostly you do want padding inside your frame. But anyway, let's go with that one. All right, that's probably looking okay. Let's have a look. I think we need a bit more margin on some of this. Yeah. So we'll make this have perhaps 10 on the left. How's that? That's all right. And then we'll also add a margin into our image down here. On the right. And then we'll go ahead and we'll space this out some. Beautiful. All right. What's next? Temperature. So I'm just going to put this near this is top events alert. Cool. Okay, so next, or it should just be a simple label. Style equal to subheader. I don't use CSS styles. I haven't got into those yet. I don't know if anyone else uses those. Static resource, subheader not found. Command.
Our struggle as artists isn't about appeasing the crowd. Rather,
Can't spell. Can't spell. That's my problem. All right, beautiful. Now I'm thinking that with this one, because they're all going to have a bit of spacing in them, I'm just going to put the margin into the top here, I think, into the style itself.
That way isn't necessarily a thing you achieve. Rather, it is a state of mind which you constantly
margin.
This all comes from an understanding that ideas aren't static, but fluid, like water.
All right, cool. That'll do us. Beautiful. Now let's go and add ourselves in. This is going to be special. Source equals temp gauge. All right. Aspect fit, perhaps. Aspect fill. So that's kind of right there. This will want to be in a grid anyway. Let's do this. Let's put it in a grid. Oh, we got a follow. Fantastic. Thanks for the follow, MV Saradi. Thank you very much. So, yeah, welcome. We're just doing a bit of Xamarin.Forms layout. It's probably taking me a little bit longer than I'd like here, but you know, just nice and relaxed. If you got any questions, feel free to ask away. Don't feel shy. Okay, let's have a look at the layout here. Let's do a little bit of thinking about how we'll do this. So we've got ourselves this element here. I'm pretty sure this is going to be skier sharp in the end. But what we have is we've got a couple of bits of text that need to dynamically update. So this one and this one here. And then we've got our dots up here as well. This I'll handle with skier. So I'm going to just make it a grid, just a single cell grid, purely to position it. So as I can then do something like this, I can say, okay, well, there's my image inside of my grid. And I want to have some text in here, some text, a label in here. And we'll say 23 degrees. I can get a degrees sign from, what was it called? I'm just trying to think. There's this here, cool symbol. This is a nice little website, which, I don't know, was it you, Diego, told me about this one? Somewhere in here, we're going to find ourselves a little symbol for Celsius. Yep. Yeah, nice one. Why can't I find it? Arrow symbols. Wait on. There's a circle one. No. Let's have a look. This is Twitch blindness, when you can't find something that you normally wouldn't take you any time to do. Circle symbols. That looks like it's not going to be up high. Let's just copy it and find out. I'm pretty sure that's just going to be in line with the text, which is not what we're after at all. Yeah. That's not going to be our friend, is it? No. I'm pretty sure there is one. That one. That one. There we go. Let's try that. Awesome. All right, now we need to get ourselves a style for this, don't we? So let's come back over here. Let's just quickly create a style in here. I'm going to assume that it's going to be the same font. So let's go Poppins Bold. It's a little bit bigger. It's also white. I'm assuming it's white. Yep. In fact, I wonder if it's the same font size as this one up here. That's 30. I reckon this wants to be 38. Okay, let's do that. Oops, let's come back to XD. Add a character style. actually, when I have a look at this, this is a really good reason to actually make this reference static resource. I think I'll make that change. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go and add in that work item right now. Font names should be declared in a style in a resource and referenced from the font, from the style. So as an example, cool. Alrighty, so here we are back again. So we're going to temp label. That's our style. Let's come back over here and set that style up in here. Some curly brackets in. Just like so. Beautiful. And give it a little bit of margin. And in fact, we want this to be in a stack layout, I think, because we want the Celsius below it. Get rid of that. And let's just take that, put that down below here, and we'll say, hey, Celsius. See us. Wow. That's not what we're after. What we're after is probably one of these fonts up here. Let's try this one. So let's set our text color to white. The whites. All right, beautiful. And then we'll put the margin in here. And to push this up, I'm going to give it a negative margin on this one. 0 minus 10. How's that looking? Probably needs to be padded in a little bit more. Alrighty, that's looking a little bit better. Oh, and we also had a little bit of text up here as well. I don't really know what those are, but let's put them in anyway. And we'll use the style here. Beautiful. Okay, text equal to, and we just want some diddly dots. So let's look at our cheat sheet. Let's get some diddly dots going on. Let's try that one. And we want this to be aligned to the end. So let's have a look at this as we do it. Oh, it's over there. You can see it really small. Text color is white. Wow, it's really small. Okay. And then let's give it a margin. Yeah, that's better. Wow, it's really small. I reckon these need to be a bit bigger. I'm going to try this. Is that 14? That's 14. This 14 as well. Slightly bigger. Maybe it's our, let's have a look at our design. Yes, a bit bigger. Maybe we actually just need a different circle. Let's see what these gives us. Yeah, too big. Too big. I could create an image there, of course. But at the moment, I think they're going to be even smaller. Oh no, they're actually not too bad. All right. So we get the basic idea there. I'm not sure if we want to put a pancake view around this whole thing. Let's see if this works. It didn't work very well before. But let's try it again. Yeah, that's better. All right, that doesn't look too bad. I feel like that's passable at the moment. Cool. Now, let's put another header in. Okay, so this is our temp gauge. I think I'll be doing that, redoing that one in Skier later on. The next one is the security. Okay, and what have we got in our security? We've got a couple of elements here. I think I'll put that into basic style. I think just similar to what we did with that one. Just a grid with just 0 elements and then a label with a little bit of rounding around it inside of a stack layout. So I could use the collection view. This is the thing that I'm never really sure of, is I could use the collection view from Xamarin.Forms 4, but it's not very complete. So maybe at the moment I'll use a stack layout and we can update it to collection view afterwards. So let's just go with the stack layout inside of a scroll view. Okay, so the basic thing that we're going to have here then is going to have a scroll view. So the scroll view is going to have a stack layout with our orientation of horizontal. So that's our basic container that we want there. And then inside of that, I think we're going to have a probably a grid. And we'll just try some values here. We'll see what it looks like. And give it a background color of red. Let's just see what we've got. Yeah, there we go. So that's that. So if we had multiple of those, where's my scrolling? Where's my scrolling? Oh, I know why. I need orientation on this. Horizontal orientation. There we are. Beautiful. So I got my zones going on here. I probably want to get rid of that horizontal bar because it looks terrible. So I'll say don't show that. It'll still work. It just won't show that bar. Oops. There we go. So that's cool. Let's go with that one. Now let's style out this. So probably what I want here is I want a grid. Maybe let's put an image inside of this grid. Oh, we have a follow. Sarkan, welcome. Thanks for the follow. And let me know if you've got any questions as we go through as well, as we develop this. Pretty much what we're doing here is kind of a little bit boring at the moment. It'll get more interesting, I think. Given the time, I might have to do it next session when we start talking about how we do skier sharp stuff. That will be the interesting bit. Anyway, till then, let's go and do this. Let's say source equals room 1. Okay, cool. Aspect fill. Okay, cool. Let's go and throw a yummy around the outside of all this, a pancake view. Just out some rounded rectangles. Doesn't have a radius, does it? No. Actually, don't want there, I want it there. And we'll give it a radius of 10. That looks all right. Okay, cool. Cool. So that gives us our room there, but we also have inside of there this little bit of embedded text in here, zone 1 and this orange. So let's have a look at what we might do with that. So first of all, I'm going to come back here. I'm just going to reproduce that in Adobe XD. So I'm going to say like, create off a rectangle here. And really what I'm doing is just trying to get the colors and things like that here. So we'll make that like that. Say, let's get rid of the border. Let's set its fill to be that orange. Throw a bit of text in there. It's Poppins bold. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Might not be Poppins bold. Maybe it's Poppins. What is the regular? Regular? Light's too light. I think it might be the semi-bold. Anyway, we'll find out. So I want that color to be in my assets. So I'll say add that to my color assets, call this tag color. And we'll get that one and we'll add that in as well. And we'll rename this to be tag label. Beautiful. And then go and copy those values out. Tag label, we'll go and stick it in our app.xaml. And we'll go and add in there. We'll say 12. Its color is white. That's cool. And we also need that background color, the tag color. Cool. Okie dokie. So we got ourselves a tag color. So let's go and now throw that into our design here. So what do we want? We probably want inside of that grid, we'll have a label. Let me go and save this first of all. Save that. Static resource of tag label. Zone 1. Okay, it's there. Beautiful. And around that, maybe we'll put a frame. Let's see if this will work. So we'll say a frame without a shadow with a background color of static label, static resource. Tag color. Oops. And then we'll close our frame. If my keyboard will work. Frame. That didn't work well at all. All right. So when that happens, it probably means the default is a fill. So we'll say vertical options of start. We'll say horizontal options of start. Beautiful. And then we'll say, let's give it a bit of a margin. Probably some padding, because remember I removed the padding. I set the default padding to be 0. Okay, and then I can have a radius here. You know what I'd like to be able to do? I don't know if anyone knows how to do this, but I'd like to be able to say the corner radius is half the height. I don't think you can though. I don't know a good way of doing it. So instead what ends up happening is you end up sort of fudging these values in, which I don't very much like. So let's put a padding of 10, 5. How's that look? Okay. That looks all right, I think. What do people think? Let me know. Is it good enough? Zone 1? Not quite good enough, is it? Let's see what I have. It's probably not too bad. All right, let's have a look and see how it looks with another couple. So now that I've got that, I'm just going to put a little comment in here. This is a room. And then we'll add in 3 rooms. So I'll make this zone 3. Image is going to be room 3. This is zone 2. Image is going to be zone 2. Oh, sorry, room 2. That's not too bad, huh? All right. Now, what else have we got? Come back to our design here. Well, we've obviously got that. Actually, I think maybe I worry everything's a little bit small on ours. Let's see how it compares in exact sizes. It's not too bad, actually. Not too bad. All right, let's go ahead. I'll probably have to end the stream pretty soon, but let's just go ahead and put these 3 down the bottom here, and then I'll probably have to do some photoshopping to get these mountain images. So maybe I'll do that off stream, and then next time when we come in, we can deal with this element here, and also the switching of themes as well. But before we do that, let's get our living room bit down the bottom. And also probably what I should do in these UI challenges is maybe, like, for example, with these here, you wouldn't actually have each of those 3 specified. You'd use something like a repeater inside of there to create those. So anyway, let's create some work items after this. Now, this is the bottom bit next, isn't it? So if we go and have a look at what we have here, this bit here is always going to be down the bottom of the page. So that wants to be in our 2nd row of our grid. So we'll call this our bottom tab layout. Yeah. Okay, so we'll have, well, I suppose it's going to be the same sort of deal, right? We're going to end up with scroll view, which is horizontal. We're going to have a stack layout, which is also horizontal. And then we're going to have a tab item inside of here. So with our, oh, actually, we need to make sure this is in grid row 1. And then for these, let's have a look. These elements here, I could probably just do this as just a stack layout going down, I think. Let's try that. Just see what happens. Say, hey, if I got a stack layout, orientation, vertical. Makes me nervous when I have too many stack layouts nested. So let's have a look at what we're doing. It's gonna be box view, white. Yep. And then we have a label. And then we're going to have another label. Active devices. Beautiful. Let's see what we got. There it is there. Wow, that looks terrible. Okay, grid row 1. You notice it's cut off this image. Probably the reason it's cut off the image is because this is not spanning multiple rows. So grid.rowspan equals 2. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, now back down here. Let's give this some margin. Let's give it some font styles. Does that look like anything else we have? That one there is probably the same as that one. This is a bit bigger one. So come in here and actually I'll come back here and do it. Subtext white, beautiful, that'll do us. This one here, let's just export. This is another style. And this will be called our tab header. Cool. And I think we want it to be semi-bold. Okay, that'll maybe do us. Come back here and we'll say this one is a style of static resource. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. And this one is a style of subtext. And we'll give it a negative margin to bring it together. Ah, come on, keyboard. All right, it probably works. Probably works. It'll look a bit different with a picture of a mountain behind it. Then let's get these ones here. So pretty much the same thing going on. Actually, I probably want to adjust the width of it a little bit as well. So I'll adjust the width of the box view. I think that's what they have in their design. Goes out a little bit further. Okay, 120, that's good. Maybe 130. All right. And then we'll go ahead and we'll basically use that same thing. Okay. But this time we're going to use a slightly different color. Let's have a look at design here. Trying to work out whether that is slightly transparent. No, I don't think so. All right, so let's just get that color then. Go for this bar, and then we'll add that color into our color assets, and we'll call that tab subtitle. Just tab. Tab subtext color. It's a terrible name. Anyway, doesn't matter. We'll come back and we'll get this working nicer. Isn't that what they say? Get the basic working and then from there, make it better. Okay, so let's have tab header, and let's also put in a tab footer here as well. Tab body, maybe. No, we should tab subtext. Okay, so is it semi-bold? Sure, semi-bold. It's going to have this color here. Okay, so I'll grab that. And this here, this box view is going to have the color that we had just there a moment ago. Static resource not found for key header. All right. What did I break? Oh, man, I miss that every time. What are you doing with your life, Kim? You can't type. This one first of all. Oh, that is so the wrong color. No, maybe it's not. Oh dear. Text color static resource. Yep, get rid of that one. Beautiful. Yeah, that doesn't look like the right color at all, does it? Let's have a look. Actually, it might be. By the time it has some mountains behind it, I reckon it might be about the right color. Okay, but this has a much more subtle and actually a smaller bar, I think. What else has it got? So yeah, smaller bar. This needs to be a smaller font down here as well. In fact, we pretty much want the same style as here. Subtext, tab subtext. Let's have a look. Subtext is 14 text light. Oh, that's right. Let's make this text light. Don't know where we've got 18 there. It should be like 14. All right, and we'll add a little bit of just spacing between these, I think. No, that's not right. That's the wrong stack layout. The stack layout I'm after is this one here. Spacing of 20, just to space them out a little bit. And what have we got inside of there? Bedroom, bathroom. Actually, let's just do it probably what they are. So that's a study. This one here is a, looks kind of like a kitchen, doesn't it? And we'll make the third one perhaps bedroom. Kitchen, study. Get rid of that horizontal scroll. Visibility. Okay, that's good. We've got that one going. So that's kind of looking about right. No, it's not. Let's add some bottom margin into this. 20, 20, 40. It's not right. It's not looking terrible. Needs a bit more margin at the top, doesn't it? Let's just do a couple of these finer things here. So what I want to do here, I want to add something above my dashboard. So we'll say margin. And we'll say, let's add 20 in there. Push it all down a little bit. All right, it's looking a bit more respectable. So then we're going to temperature. We need a little thumb down here. We've got these elements here. We've got those elements there. Okay. I wonder if I should just quickly do a thumb and put it in there. Let's do this. Hey, mouse, where are you? Right, and then let's do this. Let's pull that around there. Put that in there. I'd love to be a good graphic designer and be able to actually control these tools a lot more. Kind of just make do with just getting by. Yeah, feels about right. Okay. Let's do this. Let's add a drop shadow. So a slight drop shadow. Let's fill it with whatever color that is, which looks suspiciously white. Make our border white. Cool. The other thing I want to do is I want to get these little dotties. Let's grab a few of those. Boo, Australian internet. Actually, I suspect it's my ISP. All right, let's group those together into our thumb. Beautiful. And then let's move that over into, oops. Stop it. Why are you doing that for me? Okay, what do we got? In our thumb here, we've got our thumb grip, and we've got path 11. Yeah, cool. What's it trying to do? Why won't you drag? Oh, you know what? I made that with 0 opacity. No, that's why. Right, that's better. Cool. Okay, let's export that bad boy. And we're going to export this as well to our iOS. So hopefully that internet's back now. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm going to add these resources in. Show me all the files. Come here. Where are you? Resources. Definitely there. Okay, let's try expanding that one more time. There it is. I reckon that's buggy. All right, and I just want to throw this thumb onto here. Let's just do this. Just going to run this up. Wowzers, that's big. A little too big. So we want to put this at the end. Our horizontal options, put this at the start. Okay, that's better. And maybe then what we can do is just to give an idea of how this would eventually go. Let's go translation X 100, translation Y. So we'll just move it around a little bit. That was not the right thing. Yep. clipping it. It's clipping it. All right, well, that really just means that we're gonna have to put it outside of there, doesn't it? Excuse me. All right, so let's go and put our grid. Let's see what happens when we do this. Put a grid around here. And where did my thumb image go? Did I get rid of it? No, I did. Actually, I don't know if this is going to work. Is this going to work? Yeah. So it was actually the pancake view that was constricting it. All right, so something like that. And so therefore I should be able to move this around and say, hey, that's at 150. Move. And then the idea is that Skier Sharp might be able to take care of this clipping of that. So we'll give that a shot. All right, so we have ourselves a basic layout then. It's coming along. I'm going to have to probably sign off. But before I do that, let me go ahead and create some work items for this bad boy. Looking good? Beautiful. What did I call this thing? DayVsNight. All right, I should check in some code. I'll do that in a moment. Let's create a new issue. This issue is going to be add light dark theme. So the ability to swap between the two themes. Let's go ahead and we'll go and say implement temp slider. And I'm going to guess this is probably in Skier Sharp. With a masking region, a clipping region, I think it's called. All right, thanks, Diego. And I'll go ahead and I'll check in this code as well. Just out of interest, for when we're doing things like these UI challenges, how important is it to do things like have models behind it, in your opinion? Versus just like hard coding out 3 elements. It's probably good, right? To have models. Let's say implement bottom tab. I'm going to have another one. Just having a look at it. create a list for the rooms. I need to add the mountains in the background. So, R2AU, I'd create models, but not bother with full view models. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like, I think with these UI challenges, because they're pretty canned, you know, like it's really just to teach layout and show that we can have decent UIs. So yeah, I think maybe binding some stuff is good, because that's an important thing people need to learn. But yeah, I don't think you need full view models and load up data and all that sort of stuff. It can be pretty hard coded. All right, so add the mountains in the background. So that's probably about it, I reckon. I'm going to check in that code. As always, if anyone wants to contribute anything, feel free. I'll also update the README and things like that to indicate where all this is coming from. Let's before we finish up, let me see if there's any questions. While we do that, let's see who's streaming on the Twitches. See if we can raid somebody. C# Fritz is working away. Beautiful. Let's do that. Let's raid C# Fritz. Now, I'm terrible at raiding. But I think if I just come in here and I type in C#. C# Fritz. Let's go and raid him. He's in the middle of something to do with build, I think. So come and join me over at Fritz. Tell him you're visiting. Say hi. I'm sure he's got lots of great information. I know he's streaming lots and lots of stuff from build. So let's go raid him. So take care, everyone. Thank you very much. And I'll get together on Friday, I think, in order to do to finish this off. All right. So let me put my ending screen on, and we'll go have a visit.